Hey, this is just a quick intro to SketchUp on the web. So anybody who wants to get started in it can find it and get into it, set up an account, and then start making some cool stuff. Let me share my screen. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I am going back into Chromio, and what we're looking at is sketchup.com right here. And if you pull down to products, you'll see here it says create and it says SketchUp for web. You can download Pro right there, the desktop version of the program, but it costs money. Who wants to spend money? So SketchUp for web right here basically lets you start modeling for free. SketchUp will give you an account. You have to sign in right here. You can see I have to sign in here. I've already got an account, lucky me. So I will be able to go ahead and put in my own stuff in there. You will have to probably do your own right there. Thank you. And that gives me access to my account. So I want to start modeling. Now that I've got an account set up, you probably have to type in an address and then they'll send you one. You know how it goes. But then you go to start modeling. So it opens up this little guy. It's important to remember you're using SketchUp, but you're not using the desktop version of SketchUp. So you don't actually have SketchUp on your computer. What you have is access to SketchUp through the internet, through the web. So you're inside your browser, Chrome or whatever you're using, and you're using SketchUp tools inside that. What does that mean? That means when you download a SketchUp model and you go to open it, you can't open it on your computer. You can get a SketchUp model. You can do things with it, like make an STL file and export it and 3D print it. But you just have to remember, you don't have SketchUp on your computer. So all that to say, here we are. Let's start a new model, create new. It always starts with somebody who works at SketchUp, actually at Trimble, the company. They've digitized their employees. So they have somebody here for scale, right? If you said, well, how big is my house? Well, relative to that person, big enough for a person or not. Most of the things over here are like, there's a pick tool, the selection tool, eraser, paint bucket, a pencil tool that you can use to draw lines with and things like that. Most of these, you notice, have a little arrow next to them, which says, by the way, there's other stuff underneath here. So you can do other things with those tools. Like the paint bucket happens to have also the eyedropper tool next to it. The curves, the arcs over here are all different. They're kind of tricky, some of them, but you just get the hang of it. Rectangle tool, an arc tool, a circle tool, polygon tool, 3D type, things like that, push pull, which happens to have offset and offset there and follow me right there. And then some of the solid tools, and then move, scale, rotate, live right here all together. So a lot of the tools that you'll need to move things, to create things and move them around all live up there. You notice when I picked the paint bucket, it said, well, you must want to talk about materials, and we could. Materials live over here in this little box with the X on it. And what that means is that I can select materials or actually add materials or find new ones or put them in here that I can then add to my model. So that's pretty cool. Components gives me a chance to open the 3D warehouse and search for stuff that other people have built that I can bring into SketchUp. So there's a lot of, like, it's hard to quickly give you a sense of how cool this program is, but it's great. It's just very complex. There's a lot to it. I'm just going to quickly show you a couple of things. I'm going to grab this rectangle tool that lives right here. There's other tools that live underneath that, but this is what you mainly want to be able to do. I'm drawing something here on the ground. You'll notice that I just clicked once and now I'm kind of saying, well, how big do I want that to be? At the very bottom of your screen, you'll notice there's a little dimensions bar. The first temptation you're going to have is to go, I'm going to go select those numbers and type over them. Don't do that. This is one of the crazy making things about SketchUp, and it's the first thing you have to get straight in your head. Is you just go click and then click and don't do anything else. Just say, I want this to be a 20-foot by 40-foot base model of my house. Okay, so just type 20 apostrophe for feet, comma, 40 apostrophe, and then hit return, and poof, it magically creates a 20 by 40 footprint for you, for your house. So that's how you create something and measure it and get the size of it. And then you say, well, I want that first floor, I want it to be 10 feet tall. Here's the cool thing. Push pull is right here, offset, and follow me right there. So if I grab that shape and just start pulling up on it and say, I want that to be 12 feet tall, poof, I've got that. By the way, what I'm doing is using a trackpad, thank you. And I'm just scrolling in and out with that and moving around. So you can control a whole bunch of stuff the way that you move around inside SketchUp. You've also got controls here. There's my orbit tool that lets me orbit, so I can decide where I want to be. There is a pan tool. Thank you so much for everything. The pan tool is a hand that lets you kind of slide back and forth like that. And then you've also got a zoom tool or a de-zoom tool. I find on the trackpad, I can use my pinch to move in and out. You might have a scroll wheel on your mouse, so you can do something similar with that. After that, the sky's the limit. You can have a ton of fun with this thing. Grab this, I'm gonna put another window on here, and I'm going to use the push-pull tool and push that right through until I have a hole in the whole thing. I can make a window in there. Let's go back to this wall right there, and it will say doink, and now I've got whoop, a hole in my thing. So there's a lot of fun that you can have with this. I recommend that you play with it a little bit. Things like the midpoint of the line right there will identify itself if you roll it with a pencil and say, I do want a midpoint. I'm going to come over here to this midpoint, snappity snap. And then you could say, I want to grab my move tool and grab that line and pull it up and make a house. So a lot of cool things that you can do with this program. Hopefully that gives you at least a start, a very quick start on where it is, and then some of the tools that are inside there. Ciao.